Hi everybody, Mike Reese here for Martial Arts Chat. Today, there are times that I have, I have a hard time thinking of things to talk about, and it's not so much hard to find things because there's plenty of stuff in the news, but it's, normally it's MMA related and, things like that. Like a friend of mine, me and Glenn Hardman were talking about it. We were talking about Ronda Rousey's next fight and things of that nature. And her and Alexis Davis. People can say what they can say about Ronda Rousey. They can say that she's this mean individual because of what television showed us on The Ultimate Fighter. Something like that. But at the same time, can we really take everything? Can we look at this big media forum and we're trying to see this build up? We're trying to watch the drama of, reality shows, really, they're not that real. Honestly, can we take it for what it is? Can we take her as someone that's very strongly opinionated and is like, well, it is what it is, and it's just her personal views on things, and she just kind of has that mindset, maybe? Yeah, probably. And I think a part of her just to really want to do something, and she might, and there was also personal history, there's just personal things that are happening, so we can't really judge off of a TV show, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. And I fell, I'm not gonna lie, I fell in like everyone else, and I was like, oh man, Ronda Rousey. I do not like the Diaz brothers. I do not like them at all, and she hangs out with them, and it's part of their, camp and stuff like that, and I really don't care for those guys. I really don't. I don't care for their attitudes. I don't care for anything like that. They, in my opinion, are very unprofessional, and they're just nothing but glorified thugs. And seriously, even comparatively to her, where are they? You know what I mean? But anyways, getting off of that subject, I looked at, I was watching fights of Alexis Davis, and I was watching fights of, Ronda Rousey. Alexis Davis is just, I don't think she is good for the sport. She's good, but she's not in her realm. She's not in Ronda Rousey's realm. It's kind of like fighters that we were watching before they would go against Anderson Silva or George St. Pierre before they had their, before they had their decline of basically starting to get stomped. And honestly, they didn't, they got beat, but they weren't like, except for George St. Pierre, he got beat up. He got beat up bad. But if you look at them before their huge decline, the fights that they had, the many fights beforehand that they had before their big losses, the many fights, you looked at them, many people would say the same thing about them. They'd say, well, I don't think that guy is in the same caliber bracket. I don't think he's in the same, anything, really. So you just kind of deal with it, and that's how I see Alexis Davis. She's just not there yet. A lot of people are talking about, well, maybe her and Cyborg should fight, and Cyborg saying, hey, I'm trying to drop down that weight so that it can happen. I think in a striking portion, she's never faced anyone like Cyborg in a striking match. I don't think she's faced anyone that can hit as hard or that is very powerful and very aggressive fighter as you get in Cyborg. And she, in my opinion, would give her a run for her money in that area. However, I did just watch this very aggressive, very powerful woman in a Muay Thai match, was it like last month, lost. She lost to a girl that just had more technical skill striking in a Muay Thai match. Now, this is not an MMA match, this is a Muay Thai match. However, the technical skill of Ronda's judo versus her aggressive going up, if Ronda can handle keeping her guard up and just lets her rush in so she can just take her down, I hate to say it, but I would see Cyborg getting tapped. And the reason why I see that is because she is a very aggressive, coming right at you type fighter, which is good for her because she's powerful. So she could really, I mean, if she laid in a good shot, and if Ronda's hands are down, well, she's going to get knocked out. That's just, Ronda won't want to stand up with her. They're talking about, Gina Carano was talking about getting back into the fight game, and I hope she trains her butt off to get in. I'd love to see Gina come back in, but I do not believe that she deserves a title fight right away. She's been gone a long time. I think she needs to fight some of the newer talent, and even some of these girls that have been in the fight game for a while, but have continued to train and get better and fight and kind of just they're learning the game better. I think she needs to get in there and see some of the new blood and, you know, things like that. And she needs to figure this out before she gets a title shot. And that's just my opinion. I think a title shot right away would be great for Ronda, because Ronda would be able to probably beat her pretty quickly, because she's been doing nothing but training and fighting to maintain her level, where Gina has been training, but she hasn't been fighting. And even some of her training is probably not as high, as intense or as high as it was when she was in the professional fight game. So, you know, there's that. I don't know, and she's a strong woman though. I mean, but why are people not talking about Cat Zingano, who even Ronda said she really is the #1 contender though. She is still the #1 contender. I don't know why people aren't talking about her. I think Kat will give her a run for her money. I don't know. It would depend, because she's kind of unorthodox. So if she could avoid certain things that Ronda does on the ground, I think she has a surefire chance. If she can land some of those big knees that she has a big chance. I'm a big Cat Zingano fan. I like Cat Zingano. I think she's really good. I think she's a very good fighter, and I love the fact that she's very unorthodox, and you don't know which way she's going to come from, and she just all of a sudden she starts laying in like big time knees into you, and these are powerhouse knees. They've leveled more than one fighter, so she's really if you're good in the clinch, and my perspective of things have been, if you're really good in the clinch, you're going to be a dominant fighter. And that's because you got people like, Silva, let's see, John Bones Jones. I mean, a lot of these guys are very good in the clinch. And when they're in that clinch, if they can't get beat in that clinch, then they're gonna hammer you out. So, and it's because it's one of the ranges that many people they train on, but they don't focus on. And so these guys that are like Muay Thai fighters, or these guys that are really good kickboxers or Muay Thai trained guys, they understand that the clinch is very essential for a good part of winning if you know how to use it correctly. So, there's that. There's my views on the fight game, and as far as Ronda Rousey and all that stuff. Now, a part of this is also, it's not just about the fight game. I wanted to bring that up mainly because it's kind of in the news a lot. I see a lot of the Rousey's fights and stuff like that, which is interesting because, we just had Roy Nelson just beat Nogueira and it's like, why are people not talking about this? Which I love Roy Nelson. Some people don't like him and stuff like that, but I think he's great. He makes me go, hey, an older fat guy can get in there, and even though the guy trains, and he trains, but he doesn't just train, man. He trains in different types of things to get out there and make sure that he has his skill set up, which is interesting to me, and I respect that a lot. So, but you have someone like Roy Nelson that goes in against these guys that are all chiseled up, and I think it's just funny because he hits them with that overhand and blap, unconscious. you know, so I just think it's funny that you see a lot of, when you see some of the mainstream news, not just MMA news, because you can go on like all these different blogs of MMA news and find all this other stuff out if you're a fan, but just like mainstream stuff, it's funny that you see more things about Rousey than you do the majority of any other fighter. I'm impressed with Bones. I think John Jones is I think he's one of the most dominant fighters right now. I think he's one of those people you're going to watch, and he's going to just get better and better, and he's going to be someone that you're going to have to deal with. Someone really good's going to have to. Someone's going to have to train really hard, and it's probably going to take you at least It's going to at least take you a couple fights before you can get it down, and even then you might be on the fence about it. But so I think he's one that he's going to be in his position for a while, and I think that he's very good. He's not just very good; he's really good. And to watch the guy, he's a dominant fighter. He's a very dominant fighter. So now, getting away from MMA fights and all that stuff and my thoughts, one of the things I was talking about this with my son yesterday, and it was funny because I think it is something that we fail at a lot in martial arts, and I think that we talk about training and teaching people confidence and things like that, but it's amazing how unconfident so many people are in the martial arts. And the reason why I say this is because you could be the toughest individual in the world, broke many records, but unless everyone around you hears the story 15 times, or you state it over and over and over again because you broke this record, you want to make sure everyone knows that you broke this record, it makes me realize that we are in this whole little group of people that really wants a pat on the back. You know, we have to prove ourselves. We have to do that break. We have to do that demonstration. We have to just show you that we can do that trick, and we can do this and that and the other. And what's it mean? I mean, you know, and everybody has this feel of, I have to prove myself to show myself worthy of other people's opinions. When does that have anything to do with confidence? You know, being a warrior doesn't mean that you have to go out there and showcase everything you do. Not only does it mean you don't have to do that, you more than likely aren't going to. You're not going to jump into every fight because you don't have to prove yourself. As warriors, what we do is we train for the situation. We're not looking for the problem. We're not trying to be a paranoid and always looking for that problem. But you're ready for that. We train so we're ready for the problem if it ever arises. But we don't know if it's ever going to arise. We put ourselves in this state of fear, not knowing if it's even going to happen. Instead of just living in peace within us here, we just automatically assume everything's going to go bad, everything's going to go south. You know, some people do anyway. That's how I was. And I realized, though, a little bit too much late in life, a little too late. I mean, I go back. I've gone back and forth. I went from, I'm good, to now I was super paranoid and everything like that, and then I'm back down to that. If it happens, I'm prepared. Like, for example, you know, a lot of combative guys or tactical guys, they will carry many weapons. They'll have 2 knives, a concealed carry weapon, possibly another improvised weapon of some kind, a coup baton or something. I mean, like, you're probably carrying about 5, 6 things that could be deemed as a weapon or used as a weapon. I don't mind having something on your person, but I don't think if you have that ability, if you're that well trained, you shouldn't need all of it. If you're a concealed carry guy, maybe you should just carry your concealed and maybe a knife. You don't need all the rest. I don't need a tomahawk here. I don't need I don't need 16 knives, and I'm guilty of this as well, because I used to pack all that too. I used to pack, you know, I don't have a concealed carry license here in Texas, but I would go places. I'm packing about 4 or 5 knives, and you don't know where they're at. I could just pull one from wherever, and trust me, I can get to it fast, and I'll move it, and I'd have you stabbed before you knew what happened. But one day I was sitting there, and I did all this, and my wife just kind of looked at me. She goes, you know, I don't understand this. I thought you were trained enough that you didn't need all that. And I went, well, being trained puts my mindset to the point where I know I'll possibly need it. She goes, well, then carry a knife. Why do you need all of it? Don't you think you can use one's not enough? I said, nah, you know, decent knife people, and this is true, decent knife people will carry at least, you know, will use at least 2. She goes, yeah, but couldn't you get to something else? Aren't you trained enough that you know to be able to grab something else if necessary? Wonder if you can't even get to your knife. She just kind of she tested me a little bit in, you know, what happens if this, you know, I went, you know what, you're right. I mean, I am trained, because I had all the responses, but she was like, then why do you need all that? And I'm like, it made me think, it made me rethink, and I was like, you know what, she's right. I'm almost in a state of panic and fear that I have to have all these weapons on me, because if I don't have all these weapons on me, something's going to happen bad, and I'm going to lose a weapon or something like that. Sometimes it's just the fact that, you know what, okay, just carry a knife. Take a knife with you, you know, if you're a knife guy, have a knife. Have 2 knives. You don't need 7. You want some improvised weapons on you as well as a knife? Then carry a knife. Go to, you know, Raven Tactical and buy one of the paracord bracelets that they have out there. They have like this little ball bearing and a little monkey fist on the bottom that latches it. You take it off, and you got yourself a self-defense tool. You know, get the Kubotans, get those self-defense keys, get those things that, you know, that will happen, that will work, but aren't necessarily a blade or this or that. You know, be smart. I mean, I got that when I was in Arlington talking with Kyle Stockton over at American Ninjutsu in Arlington. He gave me one of their self-defense straps, which is really cool, because you put your hands in, and you can do any of the, if you're a Hojo Jitsu guy, you can do your Hojo Jitsu. If you're a Silat guy, you can do any of the flexible, like, stuff you do with a scarf or whatever you would do. Kali guys, same thing. I mean, if everybody's had the flexible type training where you can tie someone up and put it down, and it doesn't give you a whole lot of strap to, you know, do all these crazy things. It's just enough just to be able to do the simplest moves, which is actually what you're going to do more so than the rest. I carry that with me, and I think, you know, it's kind of enough. If I have a blade and that on me, I'm pretty much good to go. Why? Because I still have my keys, and if I have my wife's keys, I got her pepper spray too. I don't need like 15 different things to combat something. I'm pretty sure I'm not combating the living dead that's going to be walking after me, you know. If I was in Walking Dead, I might have to have all those things on me just for a quick run to the store. But other than that, you know, like, how come you do this? So, and you know, you don't have to prove yourself all the time. Everyone's asking for proof. Everyone's asking for this and that and the other. And I know what it is. People just looking for legitimacy. People asking for lineage and stuff like that. But, you know, just so everyone's clear, I don't care about lineage. If I see something good, I'm pretty much going to say, oh, that looks like it's pretty good. Then I'm going to work with that person if I get a chance. Or I'll listen to people who have worked with that person. And if it's good, it's good. If it's not, it's not. Okay? That's the kind of place that we have to be. It doesn't matter how many bricks you can break. It doesn't matter how many form trophies you can take home. None of that matters when it comes down to it. It doesn't matter how awesome this is and how cool this is. If you can't perform it in the middle for a competition or for a battle, you've done yourself no good. You've been able to punch a brick or a board really well. It's awesome. Good job. Big time achievement. And lineage, who cares? Who cares? You had an instructor? Good for you. That's a good way to start. That's a good way to start. Is he probably some sort of alcoholic, child abuser, or domestic violence offender? It's very possible. So are we going to give a crap what his lineage is? Are we going to care where this guy came from? No. I don't care about any of that stuff. I don't care how far back your lineage is. I don't care who you learned it from. Did you learn something and learn that and to make it good? Did you do something with it other than just took it for what they said it was? They said, oh, this is self-defense. Now, are you forever just stuck in the fact that this is self-defense? No, you've done something else with it. You've made it work where this is actually you're actually covering your head and you know that's the self-defense part of it. I mean, did you do something productive with it? Well, good. Then it doesn't matter what your lineage was. If your lineage was this was self-defense, then who gives a crap what they taught you? Who cares what your lineage was? Whether you have bad lineage or good lineage, it doesn't matter. I don't care. I don't care how far through all this. It doesn't matter. Are you productive? Have you done something with it? And has it become something? Has it become more? Has it become actually good? No. Change it. Then get back to me. You know what I mean? That's what we're looking for. Something that can be used, something that's going to be productive, something that's going to be worth something. Okay? But have the confidence in yourself to do it. And have the confidence in yourself not to be afraid of everything around you and not to have to prove everything to everybody or anything like that. Just know who you are. Know the things that you know and the experiences that you've had with what you know. And leave it at that. Because honestly, the rest of it really doesn't matter in the long run. And eventually people are going to either say they don't like you or they like you. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they don't. Then just don't deal with those people. Okay? So comment below. Tell me what you guys think about the, what confidence is for you. Like, how in the world do you feel? Do you feel confident? Or are you one of those people that kind of has that mentality of, maybe I'm a little crazy. Maybe I'm a little paranoid. And what do you guys think about Ronda Rousey, the fights that she's had? And, does Gina Carano deserve a shot? I don't believe so. Who do you think who's your top fighter? Top women fighter, top heavyweight, top, middleweight, top welterweight, top lightweight. Who do you think is the top of their game and the one that's the one to beat and that's the one to watch? You guys let me know. Comment below and continue. Follow me on Twitter at TFS Michael Reese, and I will get back to you guys later. I will talk to you later. I hope to see you again later.